This is the day that we win away. You've got to embrace it, Stevie. We've won a game away from home.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I almost forgot you were there. We're live on 67 Hail Hail, live, I should add, from Babbity Boutsters in the Merchant City. And we're speaking after Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2. Let us know in the chat if you can see us and hear us. Stevie, amazing, isn't it? It's amazing to support a team that wins games away from home.
It's brilliant, and it's amazing to finally be positive here after the game.
You'll find a way to get negatives out the way.
I'm sure those wonderful people in the comments will be saying very nice things about me as usual. But no, it was great. It was so nerve-wracking though, wasn't it? It was like, I mean, the last 10 minutes were murder, but we finally done it. First win away since February the 14th. Too long for a club like us, it really is, but I'm just glad we've finally done it, and we can now look forward instead of always worrying about that all the time. We can now sort of go forward with this team, and so can the manager.
Yeah, I should say before we get on to any points, this is the first live video we've done from our location, so we're kind of fingers crossed that everything goes well. Just please let us know in the comments. Can you hear us? Can you see us? Are we in sync? Are we making good points? No, forget the last point. But we'll chat about the game. It does feel as if, you know, it's a huge win for this Celtic team. We were having a chat actually before the game about previous big wins we've had at Pittodrie, and the one that sprung out for both of us was 2014, yeah. Ronnie Dyler. I think it was a later goal that day, Virgil van Dijk, but we still won 2-1. Today has the feeling of a huge victory for this Celtic team.
It does, and again, under Ronnie Dyler, it's quite similar with Ange as well, how he inherited a bit of a mess, and he had to kick on after that. And as well, like Ange, he's been dealt a pretty rubbish hand when it comes to the Celtic team that he's walked into. But that was a massive win for Dyler back then, and I think it was like backs against the wall as well, kind of. Not as similar, not like the same today, because it was a quite even game, I felt. But that Aberdeen game, I think we went down to 10 men as well, if you remember.
Scott Brown.
It was indeed, yes, Brown away. But no, it was a massive win back then, and we celebrated. I mean, the end of the game, that you felt like the team were really all together after it, and it was they all kicked on from it, and they did. In fact, I think that was the start, or I think that was like midway through an 8-game winning run we were on that season too.
So I went away to the facilities right on full time. I'd been holding it in. Stevie went at 86 minutes. I would just like to put you in the mud there. You missed a couple of minutes near the end, but sorry for putting you in there. But I went at full time. You were saying that there was some pretty decent scenes at full time. Ange walking over to the Celtic support, beating the chest a bit. Do you want to talk us through what happened?
It was just great. It was just great to see the manager, who's been maligned, maybe fairly for some of it as well, maybe by myself too. But I think we're all very much behind the manager. I think a lot of Celtic fans are, and it was just great to see, you know, Ange at the very end of the game just, you know, giving it all that to the fans. And I mean, I don't think anybody is going to doubt but Ange's passion in terms of how much he cares about succeeding. We all want him to, and he knows fine well that he has to, but he was under a lot of pressure going into that today. Let's not make a mistake about it.
You're getting pelters for not holding the mic to your mouth, so
God's sake. Right, okay.
So
right,
I'm on it, everyone. I'm going to have a go at him. Just let me know if he's not using it properly.
Thank you.
Stevie,
I will try better.
Stevie, you've got so many notes down. Like I come, this is like what I do. Stevie's just a guy who we get on because he's very good and he helps us. I don't do very many notes. I kind of take the laissez-faire approach to this. Stevie has, I don't know if you can actually see that. I think you can see the edge of it. Stevie has so many notes down there.
I don't think they'll understand what it's on here anyway with the state of my writing.
What's your big takeaways from what you were watching this afternoon? Like what kind of first leapt to your mind? We go back to when the team came out.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, Near Beaton started the game, which I thought was quite interesting. Probably kind of all saw it coming the way he played Beaton on Wednesday, brought him on as a second half sub. I don't know what it says about James McCarthy that Near Beaton is seen as a more adequate option than a guy who's played in the Premier League for the last decade. I thought Beaton was kind of alright. He had a really good chance in the first half when he got off Scott Brown, should have scored. Apart from that, he did okay. I still think there's huge question marks about that part of the team. Anything else in the starting lineup that kind of leapt out to you?
No, it was predictable, apart from, I think everyone, including us, everyone watching, knew that we definitely had to. I mean, we couldn't play Rogic and Turnbull again. We just couldn't do that. There was no balance there. There's been no balance when they're both in the team. So one of them had to drop out, and you could say it was justified in the end after the ball that Turnbull put in, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Well, the two, sorry to interrupt, the two players, they create the two goals, don't they?
Yeah,
because
right.
Turnbull, we'll talk about the first goal, because it's what you want from Turnbull. For so often Turnbull, you know, we were moaning in the second half at this turning he does, but quite literally in the name, turn. He gets the ball and you want him to do things quickly and he kind of turns. The one time in the game I thought that he did something quickly, it's a delicious ball and Kyogo makes a great run. And the finish is good as well, isn't it? Because I think, dare I say, someone like a certain Swiss striker we have at the club maybe lashes at that. It's at an awkward height for him. He maybe goes with his head. He maybe tries to lift a leg up. But Kyogo finishes it brilliantly. It's another big goal. But Turnbull's input in that goal was excellent as well.
That was a fantastic ball in, and especially at a time it will give Turnbull so much confidence as well, because he took justifiable penalties for his performance against Bayer Leverkusen, but that ball in was just fantastic, and that would have given him a lift, the manager as well, because he would have been able to say, well, there's why I played him. He's capable of doing things like that, and we know what Turnbull is like, because when Turnbull does have, his delivery at times can be absolutely brilliant. And it was a brilliant ball in that he put in for that goal.
It was an unfamiliar position as well. We don't ever really see him on the right, whipping a ball in like that.
What was good as well is, because I've always said with Celtic, when it comes to throw-ins, that Celtic are never threatening right for a throw-in. In fact, we put ourselves under a lot of pressure at throw-ins, but it's the first time I've seen in a long time we got a quick throw-in. Turnbull just his head up, saw Kyogo was in there, and his movement was exceptional for the goal again. And as you say, if it was a Yeti, he wouldn't have read that as well. Kyogo was already anticipating the mistake and the defender not reading that ball, and it was well worth the lead.
I thought he had a quiet game as well, Kyogo, but he scored a huge goal at a huge time, and he's clearly going to get so much better. If we can leap forward to the second half, just sticking with Kyogo, for me, putting him out in the left just is never going to be his position.
Yeah, you were getting really heated about that during the game.
To be fair, everyone, it's 1-1 at this stage, and me and Stevie had a bit of an argument. I just don't think Kyogo's a left winger at all. I think we need to be done with those days. He needs to play through the middle. I think Celtic as a team looks so much more of a threat when Kyogo is through the middle and he's stretching the game. To be fair to Ange, and maybe this is why he put Kyogo wide left, we didn't really see any of that today. Kyogo didn't really, that I can remember, run in behind at any stage of that match. Maybe that's why Ange changed it, but in general I just think Kyogo as a striker is where you want him to be. But his movement for that goal, people will talk about the Turnbull ball, and rightly so, and people will talk about the Kyogo finish, rightly so, but his movement for that goal was excellent. It was absolutely brilliant. He loves this dart inside and then dart outside, and I don't think another striker at the club, certainly a Yeti, gives us that at all. It was a huge moment. Half time, I think we're feeling all right, aren't we? We're winning. We've not been outstanding. Jota, I think, hit the bar, didn't he, just at the end of the first half. Other than that, we hadn't created a lot, but Aberdeen hadn't created a lot either. Did you think at that stage it was going to be a relatively straightforward second half?
I thought we were going to see it out, but as well, that what our defence is like, Hamish, and that the personnel we've got in our defence can't comfortably see a game out at this point yet. So that was playing in my mind. In fact, me and you did have, not an argument as such, but I did say at half time, I think we'll be okay here. You said they're going to get chances, they're going to take something, and you predicted it.
I did. I just felt Aberdeen would have to come out. Listen, Aberdeen's team, I don't know if you've looked at it, but they've got a lot of decent players in there. They should really be doing much better than they do. When you look at players like Brown and Ferguson, a lot of fight in that midfield. McCrory and Bates, players who I think have played in Europe for
you see a lot of fight as well, but that you can tell as well that there's no coherence there at all. I don't think Aberdeen are very balanced. I mean, we talk about our team, but you've got Brown and Ferguson, and they don't have a lot of pace in that midfield. And you can tell Aberdeen, especially at times in that game, they didn't have enough, to really to really trouble us in midfield. And up front, they were really toothless as well, I felt. But set pieces was the big problem, and
well, we'll come on to it. Awful goal to concede, another set piece. I think you've, without meaning to steal your point, I think you've got it written down there. Rangers away, set piece goal we concede. Hearts second goal we concede. The goal today, and I think the other point we kind of made together, when you look at, I think it's 6 goals now we've conceded in the league this season. I don't think one of them have been a good goal, a worldie, as you said. They've all been kind of gifted to the opponents, and that's clearly something that in another day we don't get away with that today. I thought it was a really, really poor goal we conceded. Beaton should be stronger in the air. I don't know how much Ferguson really knows about it. I think it kind of comes off his shoulder. And listen, he does amazing for the winning goal, and we will come on to it, but I really think Montgomery was really, really poor for that goal. He misjudges his jump. I think he's got to do better. I know you disagree though.
Yeah, I didn't think it wasn't a clean connection. Ferguson got on the cross that came in, and I think as a result,
Do you not think he's got more time then to try and get up and head it away?
I mean, it's all right for us saying that and all that when we're watching it, but it's very different when you're a player in real time expecting a really strong connection on it, and that doesn't happen, and you do get flat-footed. So I can see why that happened with Montgomery, and I think in general as well, the collective defending with it, Beaton should have been better with it.
Yeah, I mean,
Hart's stranded with it too, and he's probably.
I think Hart's waiting on Montgomery, isn't he, to clear it? I just
there's that communication though, like we keep talking about as well.
Yeah,
that's another part of it.
Fearful at that stage, weren't we? I
think that's what I said. Remember when we were saying it, set pieces? Like I wrote down, we seem to panic. I mean, we and you panic at set pieces. So I mean, on the park as well, when they've not dealt with a good few this season, when that one was coming in, I remember just thinking, we're in bother, because you look at last season too. One of the things I wanted to know was, you remember last season, Lewis Ferguson scored 2 penalties against us in the 3 each game, and then he scored, in the 1 each game, in the one game in April.
There's a set piece goal as well.
Where's the due diligence done there to say how much a threat he is against us in the penalty box? He's always going to be there or thereabouts, and I feel that should have been highlighted, and it wasn't, and it could have cost us today.
And it arguably did for a while, because the fear I had when we conceded was this Celtic team doesn't tend to react well to setbacks, to conceding goals. And to be honest, for the next 15-20 minutes, I thought it was quite a ropey match. I mean, we were going for it, they were going for it. I said to you with 15 minutes to go, when he brought on Rogic for Beaton, and he brought on Ayeti for Abada, I said one of these teams is going to win it. This isn't going to finish a draw, because we're going for it so much. And they were, to be fair to Aberdeen, they actually were going for it a bit as well. They were having a go. They were trying to win the game, which is fair to them. But I guess Ange deserves so much credit for what he's done. I wasn't happy at the time. As I say, moving Kyogo to the left, I felt that's limiting what he's good at. But the guy he brings on, Rogic, or one of the guys he brings on, Rogic, finds the ball in that typical Rogic area. He works some of that Rogic magic for the goal, plays it into Montgomery, and I think Montgomery deserves so much credit
for not shooting.
Because I was thinking at that stage, I was actually thinking, hit it, because it's something we probably don't do enough from those areas. We sometimes try and find that extra pass, but he plays it in, and that man Jota, who again, another player like Kyogo, had a relatively quiet game, gets a huge goal for Celtic. Who was the one who you want to pick out from that goal? You can have Rogic, you can have Montgomery, or you can have Jota.
Probably Montgomery for me, just because he endured a torrid sort of 20 minutes or so before that. You take into account what his performance during the week and how much, what he was up against by Leverkusen wasn't easy for him. And then, you're getting to that mentally sort of fatigued area of the game, that stage of the game where you've got to just be so clinical, you've got to be so composed, you've got to make the right decision. And I thought Montgomery made the exact right decision for that. It was perfect. But I do want to also say what Jota did was very Abada-esque. He came in for the right. It's the sort of thing he would have done. Came in for the right, he was in the centre of the goal to put it away. But I thought Montgomery was just fantastic for that, and especially after everything he was sort of put through in that game, deserves immense credit. I
honestly think, at the risk of being clipped up on TikTok in 6 months' time, I honestly think today might be a day we look back on as the making of this team, and that's not me saying that
we're going to... Can you take me out this video when you do this?
And crop, see if you're watching this on TikTok in 6 months' time, just crop that bit out of the screen and take him out. I said it, but I honestly think this could be the making of this team today. That's not me saying we're going to go on a 20-game winning run or anything now, but I just think this team had to find a way to win a match ugly today. Before the game, I actually said to you, the first thing I said when I walked in was, how amazing would a 3-0 win be today? Even a 2-0, a 3-0, a comfortable win, amazing. And you actually, to your credit, said, I think we need an ugly one today. This team knows how to win matches convincingly. We've done it so often at Celtic Park already this season. We did it in the Czech Republic. This team needs to find a way to win ugly, and today is a definition of an ugly win. I just really think today might be an absolutely huge day for this team. Obviously, they have to kick on now. International break probably comes at a good time again for us, because we can take stock. It's been a pretty brutal last 3 or 4 weeks with injuries, so many drop points in the leagues. Livy, Dundee United, a hammering on Thursday night. But I think we can go into the international break in a positive mindset now. Do you feel this is a turning point today? Or a lot of people, to be fair, in the comments are saying that we got lucky today. I suppose it can be a bit of both.
No, I would agree as well, but I would agree that we did get lucky a wee bit, but also, you know, we dug in, because how often in the past few games away would we have not created anything, or would we have caved in and allowed Aberdeen to score? So I do think we deserve credit for that. Maybe that's bare minimum, yes, but we still had to, you know, do that today.
Was there something different today as opposed to Livy and Hearts and even Ibrox?
Yes, but okay, I'm just going to say it, and I don't think there was anything majorly different with us. I would maybe put it down to the fact that, you know, my thoughts on Aberdeen, they're an atrocious team, and I know they went for it, but they've not got a lot of quality anywhere in the park. Like, collectively, they're a shambles, and it's no surprise to see why they are struggling so badly now in the league, and I felt that's a bigger factor more than anything, Hamish, more than anything different about us. But yeah, Ange making, you know, the Rogic sub was the right call, especially at a time when I've criticised the fact that we've got Turnbull and Rogic in there. They've not been balanced, but see, when you're chasing a game like that, and you've got, you know, both of the players offensively sort of attacking and creating, it did make the difference today, very slightly, but a lot of it I think was down to Aberdeen being garbage too.
Rogic is a great sub to come on against tired legs, isn't he? Because he finds those pockets, and I honestly don't think without Rogic in that team today, we win that game. But that moment of brilliance, I don't think there's another player in the team that picks the ball up in the midfield and moves it quickly like that. He's a joy to watch when he's like that.
We need to see more from him though, that's the thing. We've not seen a lot of that for Rogic. We saw a wee bit of a mini revival at the start of the season. He's tailed off. We need to see far more consistency, but we all know Rogic's limitations as well as a player, especially coming off of Europa games where he's been chasing majority of the games as well. That suited him, because that was a game where, you know, he was up against tired legs, as you say, and he wasn't needing to be chasing a lot. We were going to have a lot of the ball in the last 10 minutes, and that's what he can do with it. So if he can accept his limitations, and maybe he's featured far less, but he's creating for us like that, and that's not a bad thing for him. I mean, it's a bit of a dent to the ego and all that, but we're winning the game. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
3 points, isn't it?
We're going to be here for the next, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or so.
Lucky audience.
The great thing about being purple stars. I've just seen a comment here about purple stars. We get purple stars around us or something?
I don't know.
I don't know. Sorry. We're live, obviously, and the great thing about that is we can get your comments on as well. I've starred a few ones just throughout the video so far. Basically, the bits when I've been really rude to Stevie, not looking at him when he's talking.
You want to tell them what you were about to wear at the start before you had to wear this? You want to tell the audience? And I'm glad we didn't do this.
Basically, had the exact same. Well, I put it on for a laugh.
No, please don't.
I'm going to put it on for a laugh.
Fine.
Take it away.
I don't know what to say. At this point, I'm going to give a running commentary, and Hamish is indeed putting this tracky top on. It's not a wind-up, everyone. He's genuinely doing it. There he is. Sensational.
We're brothers. Right, we're going to go into your comments. I've been starring them throughout the video so far. Thanks everyone for watching, by the way. Thanks for tuning in and giving us your say. JJ saying every pass Brown played today was forward. Where was that last season? Thoughts on Brown today?
Honestly, I didn't really know. Do you know, it was funny you said about 65 minutes. The fact that Scott Brown's playing against us, because it was a big occasion. It was very hyped up, wasn't it? And everyone was saying Scott Brown against Celtic. Can't imagine that happened today, and it was just a massive anticlimax.
It was hyped up months ago, but I think there was so much going on at both teams this week. And obviously, while I was having a game on Thursday night, I felt as if no one was really talking about it. I think it'll be a bigger deal when he comes to Celtic Park and he, you know, plays at the stadium and the reaction he gets.
Johnny Mac song.
Yeah, the Johnny Mac song. But I didn't really think about it. I think there was more important things today. He nearly scored. We've not even mentioned that.
The header.
Straight to the keeper. I probably wouldn't be sitting here doing this stream if Scott Brown had scored against us. Derek Eccles saying Rogic was a game changer and Aberdeen fans must have felt sick when he was coming on. He absolutely haunts them. He actually does, and we were saying that before the game. We were surprised.
One of the notes, who was that? Derek there?
Yeah,
one of the notes I've got here, Derek, is the October 2016. I mean, Rogic has got a great record against Aberdeen, and it's quite right.
At Pittodrie as well.
Pittodrie as well, remember he scored that screamer. But we were thought about that as a game as well, because it was not long after Mönchengladbach beat us at Celtic Park. I think after that we beat Ross County 4-0. They were dismal anyway, they were atrocious. But we went to Pittodrie, and that was a hard game, but that was a real ugly one under Brendan, because we went 1-0 up for Rogic's goal, but the last half hour, Aberdeen bombarded us. Craig Gordon, I think you said, made an amazing save at one point, but we weren't great in that second half, and we saw the game out, and that gave that team confidence as well.
Hopefully that's what we've seen today. Francis Green, now there's been quite a lot of comments like this, and I think it's probably a fair point. Celtic were poor. I don't know. We won the game, but were we poor? Possibly. Disjointed. I certainly think in second half and spells we were disjointed. Good win, but masking a lot of trouble. Certainly a few people feeling like that. I think it's going to depend on the run we go on now. We've got Fir Park coming up after the international break. The same has to happen there. It's probably a tougher game than today. Hibs, I know you're already petrified at the prospect of going to Easter Road.
I'm slightly apprehensive. I'm not jumping out windies.
It's a game these are all games we have to win, but conversely, can you imagine the boost it's going to give us if we come through Motherwell? I think we've got St Johnstone at Celtic Park, and we've got Hibs at Easter Road. We've also got a back-to-back double header with Ferencváros, which, let's be honest, are going to be, along with us, probably the weaker, the easiest matches, hopefully, in the group. So if we can take 4 points from that, not only will it give us confidence, but it should also maybe give us a chance of making the Conference League. We got other comments in. David McMillan, it's an away win, 3 points, don't care how we win, hail hail. I think that sums up how a lot of us are feeling as well.
It's just relief, isn't it?
Yeah. Derek Eccles, international break is the best thing that could happen, winning before the break, and it gives us time to get Juranovic, Taylor, Johnson, Forrest, Julian and more back. I think we're going to have all these key players back very soon, and even above that we're going to have McGregor and Kyogo much more like themselves. I thought McGregor was pretty poor today, and I thought Kyogo, other than the goal, was quite quiet. That's probably to be expected, because I wasn't expecting to see these guys before the international break. So hopefully we get these guys back soon after the international break, and we can really kick on at that stage. Seb saying the passing back to Hart every 2 minutes has to be stopped.
I'm going to agree with Seb there as well, because I felt at times we were trying to be, in that first half, that we've not got the players to be smart on the ball and do very crisp, tight passing. A lot of the time it just either went back to Hart for a blitter out the park, or we almost nearly gave Aberdeen a route into goal. I think we have just at this point, I know Ange's got his philosophy, and I know he's going to be stubborn about it, and fair enough. But at the same time, I really hope he has to understand the limitations with that defence now, and playing it out for the back. It's so evident.
But he's not going to, though, is he? I mean, it's Ange's way of playing.
I do agree. You saw me in the first half. I was losing the plot at times today with that.
You were up at that bar non-stop. But I just think we needed confidence. I think we need a bit of reassurance. The team need a bit of reassurance that this is going to work, and I genuinely believe it will work. And I think a result like today is going to do so much for their confidence going into the international break.
Stuff like that today, where the stupid slack passing at the back is probably forgotten, and they focus more on the positives, such as that goal and the 3 points.
And I've said it before, fair enough, you can maybe limit what you play at the back and not be daft with it, but Ange's way of playing, you've got to persist with it. You can't do it at home to St Mirren and then go away to Aberdeen and think, we're not going to do it, because you lose the essence of what Ange's trying to do. Robert Baker, need to sign Jota and Vickers whenever we can. Hopefully, I certainly would agree with that. And also on Cameron Carter-Vickers, Darryl saying Vickers' block after Joe Hart's save was absolutely world class. When was that?
The one, Darryl, was that the one from, I think, Johnny Hayes?
He's not going to answer you back.
Oh God! Right, okay. I thought he would. I thought he was live in the comments. Anyway, I thought, was it not the one Johnny Hayes had a shot, Hart made the save, and then it was sort of looping in the air, and I think Carter Vickers nodded it off. So it's good bad defending. I think that's the one that he's on about.
I genuinely don't remember that at all.
How many times did you have?
Shows how much I care about the game. It's going to ease a lot of pressure on Ange. We haven't really touched on that so far. I honestly think a lot of Celtic fans have maybe lost their minds a little bit over the last week or so with regards to Ange. I think there's been a lot of daft comments about Ange's job being on the line if he doesn't win today and stuff. If we hadn't have won today, we know how it works. There would have been more pressure on him. I do think we have to persist, with some of the tougher times, but there's no reason why during these tougher times we can't be winning games like today, and we can't be showing that desire to win games like today. And I've said it about 18 times in this stream already, but I genuinely think this could be a huge turning point for this team. We have to go after the international break, and we just have to get on a running win of games, starting at Fir Park, going to Easter Road after that. St Johnstone are coming to Celtic Park as well, and I think if we do that, people will feel a lot better about this Celtic team. People will take the odd setback. No one's expecting this team to win every game. We'll honestly accept 4-0 defeats at home to Leverkusen. We'll come to terms with that as long as we're doing the job domestically.
Yes.
And today we did the job domestically. It wasn't pretty, but we won the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I would accept 4-0.
Maybe accept is the wrong word, but they'll deal with it. It won't be a complete calamity.
Anything, yeah. But yeah, it's still, I think during the week we've obviously not addressed that because it's not about that, but it was still a major concern. But yeah, I think the fact that the team have responded to it has been the main thing about today, and it's just about looking forward now, not going on about past poor results or anything. It's now just about getting this team to regroup, refocus, and we have got. I mean, this is all well and good today, but we have got a tough run.
It means nothing if we mess it up next month.
In Fir Park and Easter Road, my thoughts on them. And
tougher than today, yeah.
The double header against Fair and Faroes too, because I know that we're looking at that going, that's our level. That's maybe we could be looking to get 4 or 6 points for that. But think of how they're feeling as well, looking at us and our results. So it's two teams that are very much poised to. It's going to be a toughie.
Domestic's what matters, though, isn't it? And domestic football is if we keep winning games, people will kind of put the other L's in Europe to one side, and we did the business today. I know there's so much to be worked on in this Celtic team. I expect Ange to maybe, I've not seen his post-match comments, but I expect he'll come out and say it was an important win, but there's so much more we can improve on. This Celtic team is going to get better, but what this Celtic team has to do while they're getting better is they have to win matches, and today they did that. I honestly, it wasn't pretty, but we answered a lot of critics today, because I certainly 60, 70 minutes into that game couldn't see us finding a winner in that game, and we managed it.
Yeah, I was watching with yourself and I wasn't really panicking, as you know, John. I mean, there was times where I was getting a wee bit nervous with set pieces and then going forward, but I still felt we had enough quality in us to create a chance and to get something from it. The main thing is, one of the things that we've picked up on is not kick-starting another team's season. Yeah. And thank God it wasn't today, because it was all, it was looking like that way for like a large portion of the second half as well, as soon as they scored. But I'm very happy that, Aberdeen are still going to be miserable, and there's a reason they're ninth.
Talking of miserable, you can get one word to describe Robert Madden. In fact, no, not one word, because we know what route that'll go down. Bald?
Just, follically challenged, I would say. But what an abysmal refereeing performance, just so bad. And it's not us here blaming referees and all that for our wills, but it was awful. And it's not for the first time. I think whenever you do, like here, Robert Madden is going to be the ref. It is a collective groan, isn't it? It's an eye roll to the point you're just like, really? It's murder. I hate him. He's just, in the day, it was just shocking. Really was.
He was, but listen, we talk about it after a Celtic win. I thought he had a really poor game. He just needs to learn to let games flow. We're going to leave it there. We've been on for nearly half an hour. There's
nearly getting slagged. Thank you.
There's nearly 900 of you on watching. Listen, we really appreciate you all tuning in. We're going to have a day off tomorrow. I think maybe have a video in the evening, maybe, but certainly won't be a normal kind of solo video. So you'll have to do with this for now. But listen, we can be positive for once. We've had a lot of tough stuff to deal with lately. Yes, we're still sitting 6th in the league, which isn't ideal, but I honestly think today could be a massive turning point in this Celtic season. Stevie, thanks so much for joining me. We are in Babbity Bowster. I was calling it Babbity Bousters last time. As you can see bottom right, there's no S at the end of that. Babbity Bowster, great people. Thanks so much to them for having us in. Check them out if you're ever fancying a pint in Glasgow. You might bump into... In fact, no, that's not a selling point, bumping into one of us. Thanks.
I'll stay out the way if anyone's come for a pint in here. Promise.
Aye, so will I. Thanks everyone for watching. We really do appreciate the support. A big win for Celtic. Let us know what you thought in the comments below if you're watching this afterwards, and we'll speak to you very soon.